The desert wind howled, carrying whispers of secret too dark to unearth. Dubai's skyline glittered, a mosaic of glass and steel under the scorching sun. In a penthouse atop Burj Al Arab, opulence cloaked a simmering rage. Khalid al-Mansouri, a millionaire, paced his marble floor, his footsteps echoing. His wife, Noor, sat silent, her emerald eyes fixed on the Persian rug. She refused to move to his parents' sprawling villa in Abu Dhabi. Khalid's voice thundered, shaking the crystal chandelier above their dining table. Noor's defiance sparked a fire in him, untamed and dangerous. The city's hum drifted through the window, a distant pulse of life. Gold-plated walls reflected Khalid's clenched fists, his knuckles whitening. Noor's soft voice cut through, calm but unyielding, rejecting his demand. The air thickened, heavy with the scent of oud and unspoken threats. Khalid's wealth built empires, but Noor's was an unmovable fortress. Their marriage, once a fairy tale, now teetered on a razor's edge. Outside, the Arabian Gulf shimmered, its waves whispering secrets to the shore. Noor's silk abaya rustled as she stood, her gaze piercing Khalid's soul. He demanded obedience, his voice a low growl, dripping with menace. She spoke of freedom, her words sharp, slicing through his fragile ego. The room felt smaller, walls closing in, suffocating their fragile truce. Khalid's hand twitched, a storm brewing in his darkened eyes. Noor's breath caught, sensing the danger lurking beneath his tailored suit. The city's lights flickered, casting shadows that danced like specters. A glass of rose water trembled on the table, ripples betraying the tension. Khalid's wealth could buy loyalty, but not Noor's submission. Her refusal was a spark, igniting a fury he could not contain. The penthouse, a gilded cage, trapped them in their silent war. Noor's fingers grazed the table, feeling the cool, polished wood. Khalid's shadow loomed, his presence a weight pressing against her chest. The air smelled of sandalwood, thick and cloying, choking her resolve. She spoke again, her voice steady, challenging his iron grip. His hand rose, swift and brutal, striking her cheek with force. Noor stumbled, her gasp swallowed by the room's opulent silence. Pain bloomed across her face, sharp and searing, like desert heat. The chandelier's crystals tinkled, mocking the violence below. Khalid froze, his breath ragged, shock etching his angular face. Noor's eyes burned not with tears, but with a fierce resolve. Blood trickled from her lip, staining the pristine white marble. The city outside buzzed, oblivious of the storm within these walls. Noor touched her cheek, her fingers trembling, feeling the swelling skin. Khalid's voice softened, a plea wrapped in the tyrant's tone. He spoke of family honor, of traditions she could not break. Noor's silence was a rebellion, a weapon sharper than words. The room spun, her pulse pounding like distant Bedouin drums. She stepped back, her sandals clicking on the cold, polished floor. Khalid's eyes followed, a predator tracking his wounded prey. The scent of jasmine lingered, a cruel contrast to her pain. Noor's mind raced, plotting escape from this gilded prison. The city's neon glow pulsed, a beacon beyond her reach. Khalid's wealth had built this life, but it chained her soul. Her heart thudded, each beat a reminder of her fragile defiance. The bruise on her cheek throbbed, a mark of his unchecked power. She glanced at the door, its gold handle gleaming, promising freedom. Khalid's shadow shifted, blocking the path to her salvation. The air grew heavy, thick with the weight of unspoken truths. Noor's eyes darted to a photo, their wedding, smiles now lies. The framed silver edge glinted, sharp enough to cut through memories. Khalid's voice rose again, demanding she bend to his will. Noor's lips parted, whispering a truth that chilled the room. She knew his secret, a darkness buried beneath his empire. His eyes widened, a flicker of fear breaking his iron facade. The city's hum faded, leaving only their ragged breaths. Noor's words hung, a blade poised to unravel his world. Khalid's hand trembled, no longer raised, but uncertain, unsteady. The penthouse felt alive, its walls whispering of betrayal and rage. Noor's heart steadied, her fear giving way to a dangerous calm. She stepped closer, her voice low, each word a calculated strike. The secret she held could shatter his carefully crafted life. Khalid's jaw tightened, his wealth useless against her quiet power. The desert wind howled outside, carrying echoes of forgotten promises. Noor's cheek burned, but her eyes blazed with unspoken vengeance. The room's opulence mocked their pain, a stage for their tragedy. Khalid's breath hitched, sensing the shift in their deadly dance. Noor's hand grazed her pocket, feeling the weight of a hidden truth. The city's lights flickered, as if warning of the storm ahead. Khalid's empire stood tall, but its foundations began to crack. Noor's silence grew louder, a scream trapped in her chest. The air tasted bitter, like the ashes of their broken vows. Khalid's eyes searched hers, seeking control he no longer held. The penthouse, once a palace, now felt like a tomb. Noor's pulse quickened, her mind racing toward a dangerous plan. The bruise on her cheek pulsed, a reminder of his betrayal. Khalid's voice faltered, his authority slipping like sand through fingers. The city outside glittered, unaware of the darkness within. Noor's fingers tightened, clutching the secret that could destroy him. The chandeliers swayed, casting fractured light across their faces. Khalid's shadow wavered, his power crumbling under her gaze. Noor's lips curved, a faint smile hiding a storm of intent. The desert wind screamed, as if mourning what was to come. Khalid's hand dropped, his rage replaced by a creeping dread. Noor's eyes locked on his, her silence a promise of reckoning. The penthouse walls seemed to lean closer, trapping their secrets. The city's pulse thrummed, a heartbeat echoing their clash. Noor's breath steadied, her resolve hardening like desert stone. Khalid's empire, vast and mighty, teetered on her next move. The air crackled, charged with the weight of unspoken truths. Noor's hand slipped from her pocket, her secret still hidden. The night stretched on, its shadows cloaking their next steps. Khalid's voice broke, a plea masked as a command. Noor turned away, her silhouette framed by the city's glow. The penthouse held its breath, waiting for the storm to break. The desert wind screamed, clawing at the penthouse windows with relentless fury. Dubai's skyline pulsed, its neon lights bleeding into the midnight haze. Noor stood motionless, her bruised cheek throbbing under the chandelier's glow. Khalid's eyes darted, searching her face for cracks in her resolve. The air smelled of oud, heavy, suffocating, like a funeral shroud. Her fingers brushed her pocket, guarding the secret she had not revealed. The city's hum droned below, a restless heartbeat fueling her courage. Khalid's voice softened, but his words carried a venomous edge. He spoke of reconciliation, his tone smooth like polished obsidian. Noor's lips tightened, her silence a wall he could not breach. The marble floor felt cold, its chill seeping through her sandals. A distant siren wailed, slicing through the penthouse's oppressive quiet. Khalid stepped closer, his shadow swallowing the light around her. Noor's pulse raced, each beat echoing like a war drum. The room's gold walls gleamed, mocking their fractured marriage. She glanced at the door, its gold handle a taunting promise. Khalid's hand grazed her arm, his touch both familiar and repulsive. She pulled away, her skin crawling, the bruise pulsing with memory. The city's lights flickered, casting ghosts across the Persian rug. Noor's eyes caught a glint, something hidden beneath the sofa's edge. A small key, silver, etched with a symbol she did not recognize. Her breath hitched, curiosity battling the fear knotting her stomach. Khalid's gaze followed hers, his face tightening, a mask slipping. The air grew thicker, charged with secrets neither would voice. Noor bent down, her fingers trembling, reaching for the mysterious key. The rug's fiber scratched her skin, rough against her soft hands. Khalid's voice snapped, sharp and commanding, ordering her to stop. She froze, the key's cold metal grazing her fingertips, electrifying. The chandelier hummed, its crystals vibrating with unspoken tension. Noor's mind raced, questions swirling like sand in a desert storm. What did this key unlock, and why did Khalid fear it? The city's pulse quickened, mirroring the storm brewing within her. She stood, clutching the key, her eyes locked on Khalid's. His jaw clenched, a vein throbbing beneath his tanned skin. The scent of jasmine lingered, cloying, masking something darker beneath. Noor's voice broke the silence, calm but edged with defiance. She asked about the key, her words a dagger testing his facade. Khalid's smile faltered, a crack in his carefully crafted control. He spoke of forgotten trinkets, his voice too smooth, too practiced. Noor's fingers tightened around the key, its edges biting her palm. The penthouse felt smaller, its walls pressing against her resolve. She slipped the key into her pocket, her secret now doubled. Khalid's eyes narrowed, sensing the shift in their deadly game. The city's neon glow pulsed, a warning of truths yet uncovered. Noor stepped toward the balcony, needing air, needing clarity. The glass doors slid open, revealing Dubai's glittering, merciless expanse. The wind whipped her abaya, its silk flapping like a trapped bird. Khalid followed, his footsteps heavy, echoing on the polished floor. The balcony's railing was cool, its metal grounding her racing thoughts. She stared at the gulf, its waves crashing, whispering forgotten secrets. Khalid's voice cut through, low and dangerous, demanding the key. Noor's heart pounded, each beat a rebellion against his control. She turned, facing him, the key burning in her pocket. The city's lights danced, reflecting in Khalid's unyielding eyes. Noor's words were steady, accusing him of hiding something sinister. His face darkened, a storm cloud swallowing his charming mask. The air tasted bitter, like the lies piling between them. Noor's fingers brushed the key, its mystery fueling her courage. Khalid's hand twitched, as if itching to reclaim his hidden truth. The balcony felt precarious, its edge a metaphor for their marriage. Noor's voice rose, challenging him to explain the key's purpose. He laughed, a hollow sound, echoing across the empty night. The city below buzzed, indifferent to their escalating war. Noor's bruise throbbed, a reminder of his capacity for violence. She stepped back, the railing pressing against her trembling spine. Khalid's eyes glinted, a predator sensing her fleeting vulnerability. The wind howled, carrying whispers of a truth too dark to face. Noor's mind spun, piecing together fragments of their shared past. The key felt heavy, a puzzle piece to Khalid's guarded empire. She spoke again, her voice sharp, cutting through his feigned calm. His silence answered, a confession wrapped in cowardice. The city's skyline loomed, its towers watching their unraveling drama. Noor's fingers tightened, the key a lifeline in her storm. Khalid's breath quickened, his control slipping like desert sand. The balcony's tiles were slick, gleaming under the moon's pale light. Noor's eyes darted, searching for escape, for answers, for truth. A shadow moved inside, a flicker in the penthouse's dim glow. Her heart skipped, sensing another presence, unseen but close. The air grew colder, the night tightening its grip around them. Khalid's voice softened, a plea laced with barely veiled threats. Noor's resolve hardened, the key her weapon, her rebellion. The city's hum faded, leaving only their ragged breaths. She stepped closer, her voice low, promising to uncover his secrets. Khalid's face paled, a crack in his empire's golden facade. The wind screamed louder, as if warning of approaching danger. Noor's pulse thundered, each beat a step toward the unknown. The balcony felt alive, its edges whispering of perilous choices. Khalid's hand reached out, his fingers grazing her trembling wrist. She pulled back, the key's weight anchoring her fleeting courage. The city's lights flickered, as if signaling a hidden truth. Noor's eyes locked on his, defiance burning through her fear. The penthouse loomed behind, its shadows hiding untold secrets. Khalid's voice broke, a desperate edge betraying his calm. Noor's lips curved, a faint smile masking her growing dread. The night stretched on, its darkness swallowing their fragile truce. The key in her pocket burned, a spark to ignite chaos. The desert wind roared, rattling the penthouse's glass doors with unrelenting force. Dubai's skyline shimmered, its towers piercing the velvet night like daggers. Noor clutched the silver key, its edges biting into her sweating palm. Khalid's eyes burned, his gaze a furnace of rage and fear. The balcony's air was thick, scented with salt and distant spices. Her bruise throbbed, a pulsing reminder of his brutal hand. The city's neon pulse flickered, casting jagged shadows across their faces. Noor's heart pounded, each beat a drumroll to her defiance. Khalid's voice hissed, demanding the key, his composure unraveling. She stepped back, the railing's cold metal pressing against her spine. The Gulf's waves crashed below, their rhythm mocking her racing pulse. Noor's fingers tightened, the key her only leverage in this storm. Khalid lunged, his hand grasping for her wrist with desperate force. She twisted away, her sandals slipping on the balcony's slick tiles. The city's hum surged, a chorus to their spiraling clash. Noor's breath caught, her eyes catching a shadow inside the penthouse. The chandelier's glow dimmed, as if hiding a lurking presence. Her voice rose, sharp, accusing Khalid of a buried crime. His face paled, the mass of control shattering like brittle glass. The air smelled sour, heavy with the weight of his secrets. Noor's fingers grazed her pocket, the key a burning talisman. Khalid's hand froze midair, his eyes wide with sudden dread. The balcony trembled, the wind howling like a warning siren. Noor's words struck, naming a name that made him flinch. A woman, long vanished, tied to the key's hidden lock. The city's lights blinked, as if startled by her revelation. Khalid's breath hitched, his empire crumbling under her accusation. Noor's pulse thundered, her fear swallowed by a blazing resolve. She stepped forward, her voice steady, demanding the truth now. The penthouse loomed, its golden walls whispering of buried sins. Khalid's eyes darted, searching for escape from her piercing gaze. The key's symbol, a crescent, burned in her mind's eye. She knew it now, a mark from his family's vault. The air crackled, charged with the electricity of her discovery. Khalid's voice broke, a plea wrapped in a tyrant's growl. Noor's lips parted, her words a blade slicing through lies. The city's skyline watched, its towers silent witnesses to chaos. A noise echoed inside, a footstep, deliberate, chillingly close. Noor's head turned, her heart lurching at the unseen threat. The balcony's edge loomed, a drop into glittering abyss. Khalid's hand shot out, grabbing her arm with bruising force. She yanked free, her abaya tearing, silk fluttering like a flag. The wind screamed, carrying whispers of a long-forgotten name. Noor's eyes locked on the penthouse, shadows moving within. Someone was there, watching, their presence a cold blade. Her breath quickened, the key's weight anchoring her courage. Khalid's face twisted, a storm of guilt and fury unleashed. The city's pulse thrummed, urging her to run, to act. Noor bolted, dodging Khalid, racing toward the glass doors. The penthouse's marble floor gleamed, slick under her frantic steps. Khalid's shout followed, a roar swallowed by the city's din. She reached the door, her fingers fumbling with the handle. The air inside was heavy, thick with oud and menace. Noor's eyes scanned, catching a figure in the dim light. A woman, veiled, stood silent, her eyes glinting like steel. The room spun, Noor's breath catching in her tightening throat. The stranger's presence was a riddle, dangerous, suffocatingly real. Khalid's footsteps thundered, closing the distance with predatory speed. Noor's hand gripped the key, her mind racing for answers. The woman's veil shifted, revealing a scar jagged, hauntingly familiar. Noor's heart stopped, recognition slamming into her like a wave. The name she had spoken, the vanished woman, stood before her. The chandelier's crystals tinkled, mocking the room's deadly tension. Khalid burst in, his face a mask of shock and terror. The woman's eyes met his cold, unyielding, a ghost reborn. Noor's voice trembled, demanding to know the woman's truth. The air tasted bitter, like ashes of a buried past. Khalid's hand shook, his empire teetering on this revelation. The woman's voice rasped low, accusing Khalid of unspeakable acts. Noor's bruise pulsed, a reminder of his violent nature. The city's lights flickered outside, as if signaling danger's peak. The key in Noor's hand burned, unlocking a Pandora's box. The woman stepped closer, her scar a map of past pain. Khalid's breath ragged, his lies unraveling in the dim light. Noor's mind reeled, piecing together fragments of a dark truth. The penthouse felt alive, its walls closing in, trapping them. The woman's words cut, naming a vault, a secret, a crime. Noor's eyes widened, the key's purpose now terrifyingly clear. Khalid's shout echoed, a desperate bid to silence them both. The city's hum faded, leaving only their clashing heartbeats. Noor's fingers tightened, the key a weapon against his reign. The woman's gaze locked on Noor, a silent plea for alliance. The air grew colder, the night tightening its grip around them. Khalid's face contorted, his control slipping like desert sand. Noor's voice rose, demanding the vault's location, its contents. The woman's scar gleamed, a testament to Khalid's hidden cruelty. The penthouse's shadows danced, hiding truths yet to surface. Noor's pulse raced, each beat a step toward danger's clarity. Khalid's eyes darted, seeking escape from their united front. The city's skyline loomed, its towers guarding their secrets. Noor's hand trembled, the key a spark to ignite chaos. The woman's voice softened, revealing a name, a date, a death. Khalid's knees buckled, his empire crumbling under their words. The wind howled outside, screaming of justice yet to come. Noor's resolve hardened, her fear burned away by truth. The penthouse's opulence mocked, a gilded cage for their clash. The woman's eyes burned, her scar a beacon of vengeance. Noor's breath steadied, her heart set on uncovering the vault. The city's pulse thrummed, a rhythm urging her forward. Khalid's voice cracked, a final plea lost in the storm. Noor's fingers clutched the key, ready to unlock the end. The night stretched on, its darkness hiding their next move. The desert wind shrieked, clawing at the penthouse with ghostly fingers. Dubai's skyline glowed, its towers silent sentinels in the suffocating night. Noor gripped the silver key, its crescent symbol searing her palm. The scarred woman, Amina, stood firm, her eyes blazing with vengeance. Khalid's face crumpled, his empire teetering on their united accusations. The air reeked of oud, thick, cloying, masking a darker rot. Noor's bruise pulsed, a living reminder of Khalid's violent hand. The chandelier flickered, casting jagged shadows across the marble floor. Amina's voice rasped, naming a vault hidden beneath the city's heart. Noor's breath caught, the key's purpose now a terrifying reality. Khalid's eyes widened, panic fracturing his once impenetrable facade. The city's hum surged, a restless pulse fueling their confrontation. Noor's voice rose, demanding the vault's secrets, her words sharp. Amina's scar gleamed, a map of pain tying her to Khalid. The penthouse felt alive, its walls whispering of buried crimes. Khalid's hands trembled, his voice a desperate, hollow plea. Noor's fingers tightened, the key a beacon in her storm. The Gulf's waves crashed below, their rhythm a call to action. Amina stepped forward, her veil slipping, revealing more scars beneath. Noor's heart lurched, recognizing the marks as Khalid's brutal signature. The city's lights flickered, as if mourning the truth unfolding. Noor's mind raced, piecing together Amina's tale of betrayal. Khalid's empire had bodies, secrets locked in a desert vault. The air grew colder, the night tightening its grip around them. Noor's voice shook, accusing Khalid of murder, her words venomous. His knees buckled, his wealth useless against their relentless truth. The penthouse's gold walls mocked, a gilded tomb for his lies. Amina's eyes burned, her words unveiling a name, Khalid's sister. Noor's breath stopped, the twist slamming into her like lightning. Khalid's sister, Layla, vanished years ago, declared dead by him. The key's crescent matched Layla's necklace, a chilling connection. The city's pulse thundered, echoing Noor's racing heartbeats. Khalid's face drained, his guilt exposed in his trembling silence. Noor's fingers shook, the key now a link to a ghost. Amina's voice dropped, whispering of Layla's screams in the desert. The chandelier's crystals hummed, their song a dirge for the lost. Noor's eyes darted, searching the penthouse for hidden clues. A photograph fell, its frame cracking on the marble floor. Layla's face stared up, her smile haunting, frozen in time. The air tasted bitter, like ashes of forgotten life. Khalid's voice broke, denying Amina's claims, his words frantic. Noor's resolve hardened, her fear burned away by Layla's image. The city's neon glow pulsed, urging her toward the vault. Amina's hand grazed Noor's, a silent vow to seek justice. The penthouse's shadows danced, hiding truths yet to surface. Noor's pulse raced, each beat a step toward dangerous answers. Khalid lunged, his hand grasping for the key in desperation. Noor dodged, her abaya catching on the table's sharp edge. The fabric tore, a sound like a scream in the night. Amina's voice cut through, guiding Noor to the vault's location. The city below buzzed, oblivious to the storm raging above. Noor's sandals slipped, her steps echoing on the cold marble. Khalid's shout followed, a roar of a cornered beast. The air grew heavy, thick with the scent of impending doom. Noor's hand clutched the key, her lifeline in this chaos. Amina led the way, her scarred face set with grim purpose. The penthouse's walls seemed to lean, trapping their deadly dance. Noor's breath quickened, her mind spinning with Layla's mystery. The elevator doors loomed, their steel surface cold and unyielding. Khalid's footsteps thundered, his rage closing the distance fast. Noor pressed a button, the elevator's hum of fleeting hope. The doors opened, revealing a mirror reflecting their tense faces. Amina's scar gleamed, a testament to Khalid's hidden cruelty. Noor's heart pounded, the key burning like a desert sun. The elevator descended, its cables groaning under the weight of truth. The city skyline vanished, replaced by the underground's damp chill. Noor's fingers trembled, the key's crescent glinting in the dim light. Amina's voice whispered, naming a garage beneath the tower. The vault waited there, a crypt for Khalid's darkest secrets. The elevator stopped, its doors sliding open to stale air. The garage smelled of oil, dust, and forgotten promises. Noor's sandals crunched, gravel biting through the thin soles. Khalid's voice echoed, his pursuit relentless, a hunter's cry. Amina pointed, her fingers steady, toward a shadow corner. A steel door stood, its crescent lock matching Noor's key. The air grew colder, the garage a tomb for buried sins. Noor's hand shook, the key hovering before the lock's embrace. Amina's eyes urged, her scars a map to Layla's fate. The city's hum faded, leaving only their ragged breaths. Khalid's shadow loomed, his figure emerging from the darkness. Noor's pulse thundered, her courage teetering on the edge. The key slid in, its click a gunshot in the silence. The door creaked, revealing a vault shrouded in black. Amina's hand gripped Noor's, their alliance forged in fire. Khalid's shout rang out, his voice cracking with desperation. Noor's eyes widened, glimpsing papers, photos, and a bloody cloth. The vault's air was thick, heavy with the stench of death. Amina's voice trembled, naming Layla's killer. Not Khalid, but another. Noor's mind reeled, the twist shattering her fragile understanding. A new name emerged, a shadow from Khalid's inner circle. The city above pulsed, unaware of the vault's grim secrets. Noor's hand froze, clutching a photo of Layla, alive, recent. Layla was not dead, but hidden, a pawn in a game. Khalid's eyes met Noor's, his fear now laced with betrayal. The vault's walls closed in, their secrets too vast to hold. Amina's scar twitched, her gaze hinting at deeper conspiracies. Noor's breath steadied, her resolve ignited by Layla's survival. The garage's shadows shifted, hiding eyes that watched unseen. Khalid's voice faltered, his empire crumbling under new questions. Noor's fingers tightened, the key a spark for greater truths. The vault's contents whispered, promising chaos yet to unfold. The city's heartbeat thrummed, urging Noor to dig deeper. Amina's hand lingered, her scars a vow to find Layla. The night stretched on, its darkness cloaking their next steps.